Hey, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an update on a few different subjects, including the energies and the twin flames. And as much as I wanted to walk away from talking about twin flames, it seems impossible for me to do so. So here I am. And the funny thing about this is, yesterday I was looking at videos on YouTube and I found a bunch of people who were guided to do the same thing at the same time as me, and big channels and all that. They were saying, I'm going to be moving away, and now they're back saying it's impossible for me to move away, and I do understand why. There's many information out there, and it's hard to know what's real from what's not. And I'm not here to say this is real, this is not, because at the end of the day, it's what resonates with you in your path. But there are some information out there that are just false, and some people are using the label twin flame to just make quick money or take advantage. And that's probably why a few people needed to take a pause from this, and then they're back saying, this knowledge needs to be out there because it is so real. It serves on many different levels, and I believe that twin flames are here to change a lot of things about how people live and lead their lives, and they are here to bring knowledge. These soul connections, whether we call them twin flame or not, they're real and they affect people in many different ways. We are all one, and the moment we realize that and we connect to that energy, we start living a better life, because we start being more aligned with what our soul wants from us. So in this video, I want to talk about a few subjects, and not forecasts, because I don't believe in forecasts and I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not able to do forecasts aside from what I feel and what I'm getting as messages. And at this point, the only thing I'm going to say is that it's the mid-month, like mid-September, and we're going towards the fall equinox, and a lot of things will change there because we have been in this huge, long shift. I don't remember going through a shift that long before. It was hard, it was painful, and that's all related to what's happening in the collective and happening with the twin flames and the divine masculine. At this point, it's an inner union of divine masculine, divine feminine. And I'm not talking about physical male, female, but I'm talking about energies. The union of the divine masculine letting his divine feminine, taking the lead or using her powers. That's amazing to see that. So that's the shift we've been in for the past months. It's going to change with the fall equinox. Things are going to start being different and going even faster, because things have been going fast lately, very fast, roller coaster like. These past few weeks and months, time has been speeding up, and that's because we are manifesting something very important. Just like when you want to boil water, for example, you put water in the pan and you let it simmer until it boils. We're almost at that boiling point, and that's going to come towards the fall equinox. I know a lot of people are wondering how to know when you're receiving guidance or when you're connecting with your intuition. And we all have an intuition. Everyone has one. It's only a matter of knowing and letting it take the place it needs to take in your life to be guided. There's a very easy exercise you can do to work on that. It's super simple. Say your name out loud, or even internally. Just say your name. And then notice how you feel when you say your name. It has a vibration. It has a specific resonance when you say that. That's your truth. I mean, your ego cannot come in the way of saying, no, that's not your name, you know? So notice that feeling, that resonance. That's your guidance. That's your truth. That's your intuition. That's what it feels like to listen to your intuition. So it's a path inside of you that it's always there. It's just that sometimes it's closed off and you need to keep it open. And now say a name that is not yours. So for example, my name is Jan. So it feels like totally true. My name is Melissa. There's something completely different about it. Internally, the way my cells vibrate in that resonance I'm talking about. So it has a specific feeling that is guidance. So when you start following that, you're in alignment with what your soul wants from you. And this is what the divine masculine is going through right now. Actually, they're going through a bunch of things, a lot of releasing and purging, but a lot of coming into their alignment on top of forgiveness, self-forgiveness. This is a major, major theme for everyone. Divine masculine, divine feminine, and the collective, so everyone. At this point, the divine masculine is working on forgiving themselves, either for what they've done to you, for rejecting you, abandoning you, or the way they treated you in the past, or forgiving themselves for what they allowed themselves to go through or put up with in regards to past relationships, to karmic relationships and situation. A lot of male, physical male, have put up with controlling karmics, very controlling karmics, and they were suppressed and put down and put aside and unable to speak from their heart, allow their voice a space to live. And they've released, a lot of them have released the karmics, but they're now working on self-forgiveness. And also on, like I mentioned, how they may have treated you in the past if you have been in contact with your twin. So that's a really, really good sign, and that's the shift we've been working on. That's the water boiling and coming into a boil, a full-on boil. And for those of you out there who are holding fear of this is never going to happen, I'm doing this for nothing, but I'm afraid that blah, 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 I beg you to work on that for yourself and the collective and your twin, because there's no space for fear. What happens when you boil water? It's going to spill over if you let it boil, right? So that's exactly what's going to happen with the unawakened twin or the runner twin. They're going to reach a point where it's so obvious who you are to them, so obvious where they need to be and what they need to do, that they will no longer be able to deflect this or pretend it's not there, or be angry, or just ignore you. It's going to become impossible. It's going to grow inside of them and grow and keep on growing until they take the call. Like the phone won't stop ringing until they take the call. They have a destiny just like we do, and no matter what we do, sure, someone can go on the wrong path and create all kinds of stuff for themselves, but at the end of the day, the guidance is always there, the messages are always there, and the phone is always ringing. And the more work you do on yourself, the more help goes towards your twin. So if you resist and you're not doing the work and you're staying in the fears, Nothing is going to happen. Your twin is not going to awaken. Nothing. You're going to be stuck. And that's not the point. While you work on yourself, because of the ripple effect and the mirror effect, they receive those energies as well, applying to their specific situation there. It's not because you clear something that they will clear the exact same thing, but they will come around to it. And that's what the upcoming months are about. That's what's going to happen. The more work you do, the more results you're going to see. And have no fear. Your twin is awakening if you are. Remember how it was at first for you. I remember before I awakened, I knew something was coming. I knew something was building up. I just didn't know what it was. And just like the water boiling, it kept on being stronger, louder, always present, always there, until it became so obvious that I couldn't do anything else but put my focus on that, leave the past in the past, and focus on what was being asked of me. And I'm so grateful I listened, because it's amazing what happened. Sure, it was tough. It was painful. Releasing and healing is really tough. And going down, down, down to the rock bottom to build yourself back up again is not an easy thing to do at all. The Divine Masculine have been working on that. And the self-forgiveness part is such a major, major theme. I said it and I'm saying it again. We are called at this point to take a look at ourselves and our lives and analyze and see, am I angry about something? Am I angry towards someone? Do I need to give forgiveness to myself or others? And the way to go about this is I am forgiveness. You can use affirmations or you can use anything else that might work for you, but sit down, take a few deep breaths and say things like, I am forgiveness. I am forgiving myself, therefore I am forgiving others. This is the shortcut. The other way around, saying I am forgiving others and not forgiving yourself, is the long road. It takes more time. It's hard to forgive ourselves. But at the end of the day, if you don't forgive yourself, you create resistance. We are all human. We don't know everything. Sometimes we're in the dark. We don't know what to do. We don't know what the next step is. And it's okay. We need to forgive ourselves. The Divine Masculine has been and is working really, really hard on that, forgiving themselves, because they now see themselves completely differently than how they used to see themselves just a few months back. They're now seeing, how did I let that happen to myself? How did I let that person take my light away? How did I let this person step all over me like this? And this is hard to take. It's hard to look at yourself and realize, I did that to myself. They did not do this to me. I did. So, if you've been having energies or feelings of being guilty and not really knowing where it was from, it probably was coming from your twin. Because at this point of the game, not picking up on your twin is almost impossible. It's there. They're a part of you. You are part of them, and they know. They know who you are to them. They feel all these things. Even if they say no, even if they pretend it's not there, they do. They feel it. They think about their twin almost nonstop, probably just like you are. It's like it's impossible. They're just there. They're inside of you. And you are inside of them. That's how it is. That's how true these soul connections are. And we affect one another. And it's very deep. It's kind of, it's crazy how we were programmed to think otherwise. It's crazy how we lost all that knowledge along the way somehow. And it's crazy to see how many people are working to bring that knowledge back and to break those barriers, those stigmas, those archetypes, those um, wrongful thinking, wrongful way of thinking. I mean, it's time for everyone to get into that oneness energy and just be of service, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. A lot of twins already are in service. And that doesn't mean, because I know a lot of readers out there are putting the message that to be in service, it necessarily means a spiritual business 100% of the time. Be careful with that. That's not true for everyone. It's actually very, very rare. A lot of people are doing the spiritual thing and something else, just like I'm doing. I'm doing the spiritual thing, but I'm also in business, doing sales. And you can tell what's for you if you just listen to your own guidance. Like I said, it's very, very rare to be 100% of the time in a spiritual business. It's just for very few people. We are also called, to take a look at our lives and to do some clearing. The divine masculine is purging and releasing a lot on the emotional level, but the divine feminine is doing that mostly on the physical level, especially with the fall equinox coming. We are called to clear a lot of interference from our lives, whether it's physical, material stuff, people, or behaviors that we may have, especially people. At this point, a lot of people will start seeing their friends, their family, or who they thought their soulmate was or their twin flame was in a different way, completely different angle. The truth is coming out. You will start seeing how some people haven't been really honest with you. They will start showing their true colors, and those are the people that you need to let go in order to attract new ones in your life and to connect with people from your soul family, your tribe, however way you want to call it. And I know a lot of people are saying, yes, but if I let go of all these people, I'm going to be alone. No. You're going to be alone for a few days, maybe. And then you're going to start attracting a whole bunch of new people. And you're going to see it. And it goes fast. And allow yourself to be very open-minded about this in the way that they may not come how you thought they would come. Meaning they may come through a perfect stranger or a client. In my case, I go through a lot of that with clients. I mean, a few of my clients in business are twin flames. Very spiritual people, and they don't know about the term twin flames, but they are. And they're like changing their lives right now and like turning everything around for the better for them. And I'm surrounded by people like this. And sometimes they come through perfect strangers in the street. Like people will start talking to me and we're like, yeah, and we're having like this momentum. And then we stay connected for some reason, and those are not coincidences. They are synchronicities. It was meant for these people to meet, for me to meet these people and for them to meet me. For some reason, we don't always see why at first, but there's a reason for it. And so as you let go of these people that no longer resonate with you or are on a different level than you are, you start attracting people at the same level as you, higher, maybe a little bit lower, but like pretty similar. And we need to be open-minded because these people may be a lot younger or a lot older, and that's all to embody the twin flame connection and the knowledge that comes with being a twin flame, which is to let go of all programming and archetypes and stigmas and to just embody unconditional love. Because we can learn from everyone. We can learn from everyone. We can teach everyone. We're all teachers and we're all students at the same time every day. And talking about students and teachers, the divine masculine, the image I'm seeing is divine masculine being in school with their books and studying. So they are receiving a lot of spiritual knowledge about themselves, about their journey, and the universal knowledge, universal wisdom. They are receiving that day and night, but a lot at night, and they are dreaming about their divine feminine at night so much. You may have been dreaming of your divine masculine as well and receiving messages from their soul through your dreams or in your dreams. But day and night, they are being changed and pushed to learn and to understand and to let go and release those layers of false programming or programs, and to just embody their highest version of themselves. Unconditional love, twin flame, having no judgment, no ego. A lot of them are starting to realize or are realizing or about to realize what it means to be a conduit. And they are being shown, for those of them who are clairvoyant or more visual, they are being shown the image of themselves connecting to the universe or to God or to this higher consciousness. And this tube of light, there's a transmission going on in between, and they realize that they have a soul and that it's in a higher dimension than what we know physically. And they realize that the soul transmits its message directly in the heart. And they realize that in between there's this filter, the ego. They realize that they don't need their ego to be happy, to feel confident, to be strong. As opposed to the past where they were ran by their ego. Now they're like, I don't need that. My heart is the most powerful tool in my tool belt. So that's what I'm going to use from now on. They are realizing all of that. And like I said, they know who you are to them. They realize, they're like, oh, that's what she was talking about. That's what he was saying to me that I did not get in the past. That's what she meant. And they feel guilty, and that's where they are trying to work on self-forgiveness for not listening to you back then, for not acknowledging what you were saying back then, and for the judgment they put on you at the time. They realized that it was wrong, that it was just a false perception. And now their energy and their heart space is much more in balance, pure energy. And a lot of them are understanding the magnetic field around the heart and how they need to use that to manifest, and not their mind, not their ego. And they feel, some of them for the first time, some of them are becoming a lot more comfortable in that position of being a conduit or being aligned, as opposed to before where they were running from it. Now they're like, oh my God, this feels so good. This feels so much better than what I used to be. less pressure, pure energy, unconditional love, acceptance and allowance and surrender. So they are navigating through that as they are receiving the education they need from their soul and from the universe and from their guides. So please do the same. Keep on learning. There's always something to learn about, or someone to learn about, or something to be curious about. Um, so we all need to keep on learning. There's no such things as, no, I've been there, done that, I'm done. I mean, there's nothing else. There's always something else. Always, and that's the beauty of life. At this point, you might be feeling completely new, or feeling like a new version of you is just about to show up. And this may feel very familiar. Feeling like, wow, this is how I used to be before. But now it's version 2.0. It's that minus all the junk that was attached to it. Like your real essence, your pure energy. And that's from the inner union of the masculine and feminine energy, and from allowing your soul to teach you and guide you. If on the other side, you are in a stage where your twin won't talk to you and you feel like they're running, and you're very, you're in pain from that separation, work on the separation. Work on the running phase, even though I don't like saying that. What you can do to help with that phase is just surrender to it. Help them run in the way that you surrender to them, in the way that you don't chase them, in the way that you just accept that they need time away for themselves to heal. Do not put pressure, and do certainly not be waiting for them. Do your own work. Because when you do not do your work and you just wait, you're making the entire collective pay for that. In the sense that instead of uploading your good energy to the unified field, you're doing nothing. You are uploading nothing. So therefore, others cannot benefit from you, and you're creating this huge blockage. So keep on working. Do not wait for them. Do not be in despair. I know that sounds easy to say. When you're in it, it's a completely different ball game, and I know that. Trust me, when it hurts like hell, it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to keep on working, but that's the only way out. So do one step, make one step. That's all that matters. One step forward. The rest will come. Do not be waiting. Do not be projecting and saying, yeah, but he or she is running. Who cares? Let them run. They're going to hit a wall, because there's nowhere else to go but to listen to the soul calling, to the phone ringing. There's nowhere else to go but to pick up that phone. The water boiling again. It's going to spill over, and it's going to become so, it's mandatory actually, but it's going to become so obvious. The pressure will be so strong at one point that the only thing to do is to surrender. Remember how it was for you. Like I said, that's how it was for me. It was so obvious. I mean, I came from this space of, I know I feel different, and I know that there's something going on, but I don't know what it is, to the point where, oh my God, this is so obvious. I'm clairvoyant. I don't understand what's going on, but I need to learn these things. And as I went onto that path, I learned that being clairvoyant runs in my family. I opened up my gifts, and I started suddenly feeling like better, because I didn't feel so different anymore. And I kept on working on my healing, and I felt better, 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 and better, and always better. Aside from those times that I would pick up on my twin, either resisting or being in pain. When that happens, if you feel the resistance from your twin, you need to do the opposite. Push forward, break the barriers, and, work harder. And when you feel them in pain, send them love. Meditate for them. Meditate, focusing on sending them love, but on their healing. And if you know exactly what they need to heal, well, focus on that. And take away the fears. And just work, work, work. It's a rhythm. It's a cycle, just like everything else in life is a cycle. Just like, I know some people, they wish things would go faster, but it's impossible. It's all in divine timing. Just like if you were to try to stop the sun from rising, that would be impossible, right? That's what divine timing is. Life is about cycles, loops, spirals. So is the twin flame connection. There is no way around it. The only way through it is by doing the work. You cannot push. If you push, you're creating delays, you're making things harder, and we're all guilty of that. I am guilty of that. I am guilty of once putting pressure on my twin, and I realized that the only thing I could do is surrender to this divine timing. There is nothing else to do. So when you reach out for help, when you reach out to someone for help, you should focus on knowing what the blockages are, what your guidance is. And to be truly in your power is to be able to recognize what your guidance is. And mind you, it's okay to reach out. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's absolutely okay to ask for help when you don't know. Because it's hard at first. When you are coming into your gifts or you're blocked and you're like, I don't know what I need to heal, especially if you're not very familiar with past lives. And I remember like there was a time in my life where I was like, past lives? I don't believe in that. Look at these people talking about past lives. Until it became so obvious, and until I did my first regression and understood a lot of things. And in my actual first regression in the past life, I saw my twin flame. I had no idea who he was because we hadn't met physically at the time. I met him 2 years later, but I saw him, and I saw him as himself today. And I saw specific things about his body that when I saw him physically, there was no doubt it was him. That was crazy. That was my first regression. But there's many different types of regression that you can do. Regression that you can do. That are very effective for healing. You can do, for example, a regression in your mother's womb, to clear some of that energy, because a lot of us are born with a legacy that comes from the time when our mothers were pregnant with us. Her fears, her anxiety, and whatever was going on at the time for her. And we need to clear that. So past lives, So at first it's hard to wrap your brain around it, wrap your mind around it, because we're not conditioned for that. But if we look at ancient wisdom and people, civilization, they believed in that. They believed in karma. And everyone has a choice to believe in it or not. But if it's your destiny, my message towards that is that if it's your destiny, you're going to be guided to believe in it. Just like I was. Just like I had so many proofs. And now I'm like, past life regressions are the best tool ever to do some healing. They're so easy to do. There's so many videos on YouTube, free videos that you can use. And also a lot of practitioners that are doing that to heal people. I think I've said everything. I think I've said everything. So yeah, be ready. Keep on doing the work to allow this new version of you to be fully integrated in your life. And if that resonates with you, you know exactly what it feels like, what I'm talking about. It feels like the you prior to 2012, 2010, depending on how long you've been awakened. It feels like the you 10, 20 years ago, in your 20s maybe, when you felt free and liberated, but you're there, but with all this wisdom inside of you. So know that the divine masculine is also going through that, and that's their healing and their purging and their releasing. So hang in there, be strong, keep the balance to welcome these energies into your physical life, into your daily life. That's the only way your twin flame is going to come back physically into your life. On that, thank you for being here and listening. If you would like to book a reading with me, I was going to say for me. If you would like to book a reading for me, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so using my Facebook page at Indigo Girls Readings, or using my email in the box below, indigogirl555@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.